As you can see, the Loyola guys are all starting at this end of the track as the race begins, and they're off. St. Francis starts at the other side of the track, but both sides will end where they started. Started my timer just a little late, but we should be fine. For Loyola, early in the lead is Arjun Vadgama, followed by Dylan Bissell, who are starting to make their gap, with Richard Moreno right behind them. And here we got our St. Francis runners in the lead is Hayden Owen, followed by Luke Metcalf, and then the rest of them, including Alden Hauser, No Barraza, Tim Parisi, and Lars Martin. In that group, Owen has a commanding lead. And now coming up at the end of their first lap is Loyola, going in a straight line. Good packing, led by Arjun Vadgama. The next group begins with Colin Jacobs, Jake Ratt, Harrison Lavery, Conor Bennet, and Dane Utley. Dylan Bissell just took the lead. He is the little brother of former CIF champion Shane Bissell. And coming up on his 1.5 laps is Hayden Owen. Next for St. Francis is Luke Metcalf. Those two have a big gap. Now we have Tim Parisi, No Barraza, Lars Martin, and Alden Hauser. All in a group separated each of them by about 5 meters. Coming up, this is their half-mile mark. All of them are just under 2:20 in the front group. Then Zach Zambrano is there, the senior. And now we got a big group with Jake Ratkovic, Colin Jacobs, Harrison Lavery, Conor Bennet, and Dane Utley. That group is very tight. Jake Ratkovic is the youngest of 3 brothers, all-star runners at Loyola. His oldest brother, Mason, is one of the fastest 800-meter runners we've ever had, as we see Hayden Owen go about the halfway mark in his lap. And Tyler, the middle, was great at cross-country, and he did hurdles for track. There's Luke Metcalf finishing. Going halfway through his lap. He's about 80 meters behind Owen, but he's got a big lead to the next guy, which is still Tim Parisi. Then No Barraza. Then Lars Martin and Alden Hauser. And coming up close to pass them is the Loyola group. Arjun and Dylan are still in the lead with Richie right behind him. Nate and Julian. These runners are really doing well to push each other. Zach Zambrano is kind of on his own, kind of making his way back to the front group. And we have Jake, Harrison, Connor, Colin, and Dane. If you can hear the time, Given the unprecedented circumstances of the coronavirus, these runners have had to do a lot of work on their own. They've only been able to practice 3 times a week as a team. So they've been really have to put in the work by themselves in order to get this great outfit. We see Hayden Owen. He's back again. Some of the runners have met up to go do some of the harder workouts by themselves, but really they've had to do a lot of the 2-a-day workouts on their own. There's Luke Metcalf, the freshman, giving a very impressive race for a freshman. And there's Arjun and Dylan, front 2, separated themselves a little bit. And then there's Richie. A couple steps behind him is Nate Mars and Julian Guinane. As we see some of the St. Francis runners in the mix, Loyola runners are passing them, but remember, they are about 200 meters ahead. Next group has Jake Ratkovic and Harrison Lavery, Conor Bennet, and then Dane and Colin both finished their first mile at just over 5 minutes. This is a 2-mile race, which is 8 laps around the track. The Loyola runners are currently on lap 5. There's Hayden Owen again, a sophomore. He's leading the St. Francis group, as per usual with him. There's Dylan Bissell, just ahead of Arjun Vadgama. They are passing Luke Metcalf. They're entering their 6th lap of 8. Richie finishes his 5th lap at exactly 6 minutes. Nate, 6:05. And Julian, 6:08. Zach, 6:11. Jake and Harrison at 6:15. Connor at 6:20. And Dane and Colin both at 6:26. There is Alden Hauser. And again is Hayden Owen. I don't have a time for him right now because it is kind of confusing, but he seems to be up there with some of the faster Loyola runners today.
Explain where the finish line is. I kind of don't understand it.
Okay.
The finish line is both here, like for both teams?
No, so here's Arjun and Dylan. They crossed the line where they started. That is where they will end the race. Loyola will end on this near hash mark, right where our camera is, as Richie finishes his lap, 7:18, and Nate at 7:21. St. Francis will finish on the far side of the track where they started, 200 meters away from the Loyola runners. Zach has caught up to Julian, both going fast, as we are 800 meters from the finish for these runners.
Last lap?
2 more laps. There's Conor Bennet with Dane and Colin right behind him, having closed that gap just a bit. They are finishing their lap under 7:50. 8:50, I mean. It would be 7:50. Here's Hayden Owen passing a fellow runner, St. Francis. And we got Alden Hauser. 8:18 for Dylan and Arjun. They're heading into their last lap, trying to PR, get around 9:20 for the 2-mile. That's their goal. And there's Richie coming in strong. He's going to his last lap. 8:35. 8:38 for Nate. 1 more lap for these Loyola runners. Zach and Harrison just run 8:45 with Jake and Julian right behind. And this is Connor, Colin with Dane and Connor trailing them.
Come on, dude.
As we see, Dylan and Arjun final stretch. Dylan seems to have the kick to beat Arjun. 9:20 exactly, 21 for Arjun. As we see Hayden Owen, he has 200 meters left. So we will have Loyola runners for 1 and 2. Owen has 100 meters left, just a straightaway, but Dylan and Richie and Nate will both get him. 9:47 for Richie. 9:49 for Nate Mars. Zach pushing. Just gets under 10 minutes. Harrison 10:02. Jake just behind him. And there's Julian finishing strong. 10-12. And there's Colin with a strong kick at the end. 10-21. Dane. 10-24. You have one Loyola runner yet to finish. And on the far side of the field, I believe we have Luke Metcalf, the freshman, finishing his race. Finishes just ahead of Loyola's freshman, Conor Bennet. Two impressive races for the freshmen on varsity for their teams. And now we have these St. Francis runners. To be honest, I don't know where they are.
They had good times.
Yeah, Loyola had a very great race.
So is it better than last week? Because it was windy last week, right?
Yeah, a lot of these runners improved from last week. I think the vast majority of them did. Which is good because I believe Loyola will start to cool down the intensity of the workouts following this race to get prepared to hit track season running, which is irregular, kind of cooling it down towards the end of a cross-country season. But because cross-country and track are right next to each other, as far as the seasons go, given the delays, Loyola has to do some things that they haven't done before. We're zooming in on St. Francis runners finishing their laps, finishing their races, rather.